Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I have not made a video since my first semester of college, and now I am a senior in college about to graduate in 2 weeks. So I've been wanting to make a new YouTube or rebrand my new YouTube channel for a while, and I have a new obsession that happened in 2021, which is reading. And I just want to do the book recommendation tag. I know I'm a couple months late. I'll put the original video and the creator down below. And I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite books and go from there. So the first question is, what is a book that you tell people is your favorite? Now, it used to be Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. That was my favorite book of all time. I read it last year. It was amazing. 10 out of 10. But a couple weeks ago, I read a new book, and it is now in the top contender. What is my favorite book of all time? Which is Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I do not have a physical copy. I did read it at the library. I will be purchasing it very soon, though. This book just had great representation of mental health. I unfortunately related to a lot of the things that were in the book. It made me sob at the end, which we'll get to later in one of the other questions. So basically, Alone with You in the Ether is a love story between these two individuals that decide to have only 6 conversations. And it's a little pretentious, I will admit, a little pretentious in the beginning, but I just became so hooked with the main characters in this story, and I felt validated. I felt understood, and there's a lot of mental health representation. The girl main character has a bipolar disorder, and the male main character does have depression. So it is, check trigger warnings please, but it is a beautiful book. It was amazing, and I highly recommend it. The second question is a book that is your guilty pleasure. Now, this is not a very popular book. It is extremely niche, very niche, which is why it's a guilty pleasure. But I will say it will be Paradise Rot by Jenny Haval. This book is about so much. It's really hard to explain. It's about this this college female student who starts going to university and finds a roommate, and the place that they're living in has extremely thin walls, and the commentary on it is just basically about like both of their lives like merging into one, and the writing is beautiful. It was very a visceral experience. I would still check content warnings. It's nothing like triggering like that, but it's a little weird with like fluids. That is all I'm gonna say. But it is beautiful. There's a lot of depictions of Adam and Eve and rotten fruit, and it's kind of like a fever dream. So I know this is not going to be for everyone, but look at this cover. It's like the prettiest book I own. I did tab it up. This seems like a book that I'll probably read once a year because it's very short, but I really enjoyed it, and I think this is like my 3rd favorite book of all time so far. I enjoyed it a lot, so I do highly recommend it as well. Well, I don't highly recommend it. I take that back. If you're into really weird stuff, I would say give it a try, because this is not going to be for everyone, but it was nice. All right, the next question is a book that everyone loved but you didn't. So I started my journey in 2021 of reading, and one of the first books that I purchased was The Midnight Library, which is why, do not judge. I was very new, okay? This, I gave 3 stars. I mean, I could see why people like it so much. I mean, it is very relatable about, hope you guys know what this book is about. If not, it's basically about this, a woman named Nora who, attempts to take her life, and she goes to this midnight library and she gets to see all the scenarios of like what her life could be. I just kind of felt like it was not surface level. it was just very cliche. Like, all the things that we were saying in here sounds like maybe like a Pinterest or Tumblr quote that we read in like 2015. That might be harsh, but I just felt like it was like it was all right. I enjoyed it. Like, I finished it in a sitting. It was fine. It was easy. I mean, it's pretty short. But I don't know. It just wasn't, I just wasn't for it, to be honest. The next question is a book that you read the fastest. So for that, I have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This was the first book that I've ever read since like 2012. And it is the reason why I got into reading. I just randomly picked this up at a Barnes & Noble one day, and I was like, oh, I saw this. I think Haley Pham was the one that was reading it at the time. And I was like, oh, well, I see it on a table. Might as well purchase it. I've purchased books in the past and then never read it, so I didn't think anything of it, to be honest. I sat on the couch, and I did not move until I finished it. It was amazing. I loved it. I love it so much. And now, it's been years later, but it has very similar vibes to my own relationship that I'm in currently. Second Chance. This is a friends to lovers second chance romance. I also got back with my high school sweetheart, so there was a lot of, a lot of similarities, and he actually did read the book, and he, highlighted some little spots and, said some little thoughts that were very, very cute. Even a little quick note at the end. So this holds a special place for my heart, and I'm kind of happy that this is kind of like the fastest book that I ever read in one sitting. So the next question is a book that deserves more hype. Now I have two options for this. I do not have the physical copies. I usually read from the library or from Libby on my Kindle. Highly suggest that. It's amazing. We don't need to be spending that much money on books. At least we try. So for my first option, it would be My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. If you're into thrillers, it's about this married couple that do, add a little spice in their marriage. Murder girls. It was great. I enjoyed it. I literally said what the fuck in my Goodreads. Oh, go ahead and follow me on Goodreads. It'll be down below, I swear. I do post just like little minuscule reviews. I don't go into depth. But I'm very, very active on there. So if you do want to know what I'm reading, if you want to look at any of my previous read books, you could totally look down below for that. But I loved it. It was great. If you're into like very unhinged women and just crazy stuff, it was fun. It was really fun. The next question is, what is a book that is becoming a TV show or movie? The only thing I could think of that I actually have on me is the ACOTAR series. I have only read the first 3 books, but I absolutely adore this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Mist and Fury, amazing. I will be finishing this by the end of the year for sure. Thank you, Athena, for purchasing this for Christmas for me. I love it so much. I do not want to watch the TV show. I feel like it's not going to do it justice, and it might just ruin the whole vibe for me. So I might just never watch it. Tell me if I'm alone. Tell me if you're going to watch it down below. The next question is, what is a book that you have reread the most? Now, I haven't really reread any books, but currently I am reading The Hunger Games, and I did read that for the first time in 7th grade. I think it was like 2012 at the time. And I'm almost done with it. Right now I am 71%, so I should be finishing it very soon. The reason why I'm rereading it again is because the new movie's coming out, the prequel, and I do want to read that book as well because I haven't got to it. And I do have something to show as well. I bought these foil editions of the next 2 books, Catching Fire and Mockingjay. They're beautiful. After I finish The Hunger Games on my Kindle, I'll probably be getting into these bad boys later. The next question is, what is a book from a genre that you don't typically read? And for that, I will say Tender is the Flesh. This book is a trip. This book is a sci-fi dystopian of a world where all of a sudden animals became unsuitable for humans. They became poisonous to humans. And instead of society going with a all plant-based diet, like many people are at this time, they said, what about if cannibalism could be legal? Yeah, what if we just, like, eat humans? The things that they explained in this book, it just felt so realistic, and that was terrifying to me. I did give this a 3.5 stars at the time because it is in third person. I'm more of a first person type of reader, so I felt like and it was also translated from Spanish, so I just felt like the writing style wasn't my favorite, but that's totally just more of a personal preference, nothing on the book. But I have never forgot about the book since I read it. I have to at least give it now like a 4 star because it's amazing. Like, the ending, yeah, the ending, it was good. It was good. It was just shocking. I do recommend this book if you can handle a little bit of like human gore, because they do go into detail about these slaughterhouses with humans in it, and it's very unsettling. So please keep that in mind. This book is not for everyone, so that's okay. But I do highly recommend it. The next question is, what is a book that deserves all the hype it gets? And I have the perfect one for this. I love this book so much. So I give it 5 stars. This book's a trip, dude. Like, it is a fever dream type of book again. So I'm very into weird, ambiguous endings, don't really understand what's going on type of books. But it was great. It's just about this girl named Samantha who goes to college, and there's this like huge clique of what they call bunnies, and they always say, "Hi Bunny, how are you doing today, Bunny? Oh, I miss you, Bunny." It's still so good. It's magical realism, and you really do go down the rabbit hole. You really do go down the rabbit hole with this book. Everybody has their own interpretation of what the ending is or what actually happened in the story. And I really did enjoy, like, after finishing the story, researching on Reddit, researching people's theories and stuff. And this book is also not for everybody. It's always like a hit or miss. But if you are into weird books, this is really good. I do highly suggest this. And this is something that I will probably reread in the future as well. I feel like I'll be able to get more hints about what's happening. Usually when you're reading it for the first time, you're extremely confused most of the time, but there's like little hints that they do add into the book about what's going on. So I do suggest it though. So the next question is, what is a book that you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation? And for that, that's kind of really hard. It really just depends on the genre for me. But if I had to choose one, I would say Legends and Lattes. This is a cozy fantasy about, I believe it's an orc. So basically this book is just a cozy fantasy about this orc that just didn't want to do the job anymore of being a bounty hunter, and just wants to open up a nice little coffee shop and relax in retirement. The found family in this was so unexpected. It actually did make me tear up at the end of like feeling like you have like connections with people, feeling like people actually care. It is not high stakes. It's a very low stakes fantasy if you're looking to be into that. I did finish this in a couple days. Really enjoyed it. Gave it 5 stars as well, and highly recommend. The next question is, what is a book that has your favorite characters? Need I say more? Farah, of course. Honestly, Farah, her sisters, the Bat Boys, I love them all. I got very attached to this earlier this year, so I won't stop talking about it for a while. And while we're already on ACOTAR, the next question is a book you wish you could live in. I would totally live in Valaris with Reese and the Bat Boys and enjoy the stars. So that's where I would totally love to live. Post-war. Not when all the bad stuff's happening, please. The next question is, a book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. I feel like this is like everybody's answer, to be honest. It's a very toxic relationship. There is cheating in it. I didn't think if I was going to mess with it. But if you just don't think about that you would agree with any of the decisions that happen in this book and just go along for the ride like it's a TV show. It was great. I gave it 4 stars. It was very enjoyable. I think I finished this in 2 days. And it's huge. So, if you think you can handle the toxic relationship, a little bit of cheating, a lot of bit of cheating, I do suggest it. It is popular for a reason. The writing's beautiful. The quotes are nice in it. So, your discretion on it. The next question is, what is a book that made you cry? Did kind of bring this up earlier, but Alone with You in the Ether. Alone with You in the Ether made me bawl my eyes out. Like, legitimately. I've never cried so much for a book before until I read this book. Like I said, check content warnings, check if you can handle it. I still highly recommend it if you're looking to have that type of love story representation. Not like a rom-com. It is very emotional, very heart-hitting, so please be careful with that. But it did make me bawl, for sure. Alrighty, we're on the last question, and the last question is a book that you could read for the first time again. And for that, I will say Love in Other Words again. It just sparked up my love for reading. I never thought I would be into reading. I wish I could feel the same feelings that I felt for the first time reading this book. I never been so encapsulated by a book before reading this one. And now I feel like I'm just chasing the feeling over and over again when I read new books, which I do have a lot more books in my arsenal that I do love and enjoy besides this one. But since this was the first book that got me into reading, it just holds a little special place in my heart that I want to read for the first time again. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!